What's up, everybody? Good morning. For that slightly delay of introduction, but you gotta pay attention to when you back up, especially in a truck. Got a little music going this morning. Get me moving here. Where I'm at, it's a balmy 6 degrees. It's awesome. And I played Resident Evil 2 all weekend, with the exception of the honeydew list and having to go grocery shopping. So that was kind of nice. My wife was cool and awesome about it. She actually likes watching me play video games, which is kind of nice. She even likes laughing when I die and shit. She'll do things like, "You're gonna die. You're gonna die. The dude's gonna get you right around the corner." I'm like, "Shut up, shut up. You're gonna get me killed." One of my favorite was Mortal Kombat, because I couldn't beat Shao Kahn for shit when I first played that game. He'd just come out and beat me over the fucking head, and that would be the end of it. And she used to just sit there laughing at me. So it's actually pretty fun when your wife is cool with you playing video games. Now, if you marry somebody that isn't cool with you playing video games, get divorced. You shouldn't have married the bitch. Most of the time, it's the fact that that video game system takes more of your attention away from the world than she does. So, believe it or not, they're jealous of it. But I give my wife plenty of attention, so she doesn't mind. Especially when I get a new game like that, and she knows I've been kind of looking forward to it. So that's that. Anyway, Tales from the Pond. This is when I'll give you a little tidbit of information about myself and about how I grew up and where I grew up. So there's this little road called 8 Mile in Detroit. I'm sure most of you have heard of it. Well, I grew up right next to the motherfucker. Marshall Mathers doesn't know shit about fucking 8 Mile. I grew up in Southfield, which is like, if you take 5 steps from where I live, you are in Detroit. After I grew up in Southfield, I moved to Detroit. So yes, I am actually from the Detroit metro area / Detroit. And I lived in Detroit, which really sucks, because if you live in Detroit, even if you don't work in fucking Detroit, you have to pay city taxes. Notice everywhere you gotta pay city taxes is a shithole. But understand, when you pay city taxes, everything is fucking broken and looks like shit. But you know what? I was young, right? I was young, and you don't have a lot of money, so you move someplace you can afford. And that just so happened to be Detroit, right? But growing up, I'm gonna be honest with you, I did not have a lot of friends, and there was a reason for that. Because the person that you listen to now is the same as when I was 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have not changed, because if shit does not make sense to me, if it does not jive with the universe, which has already been established, the rules are already there, then I don't fucking think it makes sense, right? And if it doesn't make sense, I don't like it, and there's no way somebody could convince me to like it. That includes teachers, school staff, neighbors. It doesn't matter. If shit does not make sense, it does not make sense. See, because even the liberals back then were trying to push their fucking Nazi communist agenda. Of course, I was young and I didn't know how to articulate what the fuck was going on. I just knew I didn't like it. I've always been conservative at heart, which means I don't think people deserve free shit for doing nothing. And trust me, I've seen plenty of it. And it's from everybody. People think shit is free, and it's not. So growing up, alright, in Southfield, let me explain to you what happened. The old man would come in my room around 5 o'clock. Why? Because that's when he got up for work. And he flicked the fucking light on, you know, that overhead light in your room, which was bright as fuck because they put 100-watt incandescent bulbs in there because we didn't give a fuck about how much electricity we used because we paid our fucking electric bill. And he flicked that fucker on. We'd be in a dead sleep, and he'd say, "Get your ass out of bed and get ready for school," and I ain't playing. Was there a few times I missed the bus? Yeah. But the old man understood because I wasn't feeling well. That's a few times. It wasn't every fucking day. Then we would get dressed, even in weather like this, 8 degrees. We would get dressed and we'd go down to the fucking bus stop and there would be a group of kids down at the corner. Now, at the corner of the street, there was a party store. I only lived 3 houses down from it, which was actually kind of nice growing up as a kid because, you know, you had a party store like right there. We would stand out in front of the party store and wait for the fucking bus, even if it was like 8 degrees. Because kids back then weren't pussies, raised by a bunch of pussies. I see kids now, man. It's like their parents drive them down to the bus stop in a heated car, sit there and wait for the fucking bus. My parents would have never did that shit because they had to go to work. Excuse me. So we sit there, we wait for the bus, we bullshit, we talk about shit like cartoons and shit. Trading cards, whatever else, you know, the shit kids talk about. We get on the fucking bus. The bus driver was a fucking maniac who I thought was hell-bent on killing us some kind of way. And it didn't matter if there was snow and sleet on the ground, that motherfucker drove that bus like it was a Ferrari. I ain't lying, man. I used to rag the shit out of that bus, and I even remember his name. His name was Willie. And that motherfucker was cool as hell. Unfortunately, Willie got caught smoking weed and was fired. Then we got another bus driver, and I thought maybe this motherfucker won't be as crazy. But guess what? That motherfucker was crazy too, even more so than Willie. And the surprising thing is, he did not fucking give a shit, and he didn't do drugs. He just did not care. So every day I woke up, even if it was only 8 degrees outside, went outside and waited for the bus for like 10 to 15 minutes. Half the time it was late. And survived a ride to school that would probably give these little commie bastards a fucking heart attack. Then we finally get to school. We did not wear hats in school. If you wore a hat going into the school, the principal or another staff member would snatch the motherfucker off of your head and slam it into your chest. Even in grade school. Because when you walk into somebody else's house, you don't fucking leave your hat on. It's a symbol of respect to remove headgear when you listen to the national anthem and when you go into somebody else's house. Because they were still teaching manners back then. We can't have that now, though. You sat down in class and you got to fucking work. I don't know how school works now, because I don't have kids. Thank God. Because some teachers probably getting their asses whipped. You sit down from kindergarten to 5th grade, you stay in the same fucking classroom all day with the exception of recess. Maybe somebody could tell me in the description box whether or not they changed that up. That'd be interesting. Then you went to middle school. When I went to middle school, that's when you start changing classrooms and shit. Getting you ready, you know. High school and shit. Now, I like school just fine. But most kids that I went to school with were fucking assholes. And most of them were racist who hated fucking white people. And I don't say that as an anecdotal piece of evidence because that's how I felt. They expressed their hatred towards white people verbally. I remember there's this one kid, and you know, I'm not gonna give his name out. You know, hopefully he's changed his fucking life around because he was a little piece of shit. Even in 1st grade, he was a piece of shit. But you know, you had show and tell. I'm sure they still have show and tell, unless you know they got rid of it, but. You would bring something to school, sit up in front of class, and describe what it is you're showing and telling about. Or you know, walk around the room and show everybody. But this motherfucking piece of shit kept skipping all the white kids. Now, at the time, our school was kind of half and half, you know? It was a good mix going on. And the teacher said, why are you skipping all, you know, these kids? And he said, my dad's told me not to be liking white people. And there you have it, folks. Ever since then, fuck them motherfuckers that are racist. I hate fucking racist motherfuckers. I don't give a shit what color you are. Needless to say, we weren't ever friends. He probably went to fucking jail or some shit. You just see that happening. He was just a bad guy altogether. I remember him, he got belt buckles banned in the elementary school because he took his belt off and started whipping the principal with it. That's the type of kids I went to school with. In middle school, it was kind of weird, okay? Because people who I thought were my friends all of a sudden became complete assholes and stopped being my friend. I didn't get it at all. I mean, I get it now. Because, you know, you're older and you start to understand shit a little bit more. Because when you go to middle school, they kind of consolidate, you know, a few elementary schools into one middle school, right? So they made new friends, and those new friends didn't like me, but they wanted to be part of the clique, so to speak, and I was out. because, I was responsible and wanted to learn and shit and not be a fucking dick. Needless to say, most of those friends that I had when entering middle school, and this goes up through high school, are either dead, in jail, or fucking losers. Big surprise there. And I've only run into a few people that I went to school with, and they always wondered how the fuck I got money, how the fuck I got a decent car to drive. It's because I wasn't an asshole and I went to school to learn shit. By the time I got to high school, I pretty much was disgusted with humanity. Right? Now, I'm a Christian man. And I was raised to be Christian. I was disgusted with humanity. But as much as I hated the motherfuckers I went to school with, there was no reason to hurt any of them. I just figured one of these days they gonna fucking either grow out of it or they probably gonna just be killed by another scumbag just like them, which was true in most cases. So I went to high school. Needless to say, by the time I got to high school, Southfield had become predominantly black because all the white people left. But see, we didn't have the white privilege. We didn't have the white privilege in the bank, because that's what the fuck they're talking about, money. It's money privilege, not white privilege. Anybody can have money privilege. My parents had no desire to move, and I fucking hated their face for it. Because the people I went to school with were nothing but rabid racists. The kind you see now who run around saying every fucking thing is racist, even though it's not, right? I went to school with them assholes. And they have raised the generation of dicks that we have to fucking put up with now. The snowflakes. The people that are offended by every fucking thing. I walked across the graduation stage, got my fucking diploma, and I was like, peace, I'm out. I hope I never see any of you motherfuckers ever again. And it had nothing to do with race before anybody starts getting all fucking riled up. It had to do with the fact is that most of them kids, if not all, were assholes. I don't know. When I left high school, I had two friends. One friend I still talk to. The other friend decided he wanted to be a girl. So, there's that. We don't talk much. Not because I hate him, or not because I'm some sort of phobe or anything, but he's off doing his own thing, being weird and mental as usual. He was mental. He was always a little off. He was like the "it's ma'am" guy, because he used to think he was a big time fucking rapper too. And then all of a sudden he wanted to be a fucking girl. And I'm like, really, man? Really? Really? You want to be a girl now? Dude, if you gay, you just want to take it up the ass. Just say you gay. But I guess he's doing alright, because we touch base every once in a while on Facebook. And yes, I said he, because I'm never going to refer to that motherfucker as a girl, ever. Because I grew up with him, and I know he is not a fucking girl. But he can do whatever he wants with his life. So yes, school sucked. I hate them motherfuckers that say, "Oh, I loved high school." Fuck did you love about it, motherfucker? I always say, and I'm sure this ain't true, but every time I hear somebody say how much they loved high school, it meant they were a fucking piece of shit. They were one of the motherfuckers that walked around fucking with people all the time. I remember when I was a senior, right? So this to tell you, just a little anecdotal story, But one girl leaned over to me, this like near the end of the year, it was chemistry. And I'll never forget this shit. She leaned over and looked at me, she said, "You're the only white person in here." And I actually looked around because I didn't really fucking give a shit. I looked around like, and? But that's the type of people I went to high school with. Fucking racist dicks. And I've seen a lot of them. I'm saying I ran into a few, but I've obviously run into people from high school, and you get stories about how this motherfucker got shot, this motherfucker went to jail, this motherfucker is living in his mom's basement and weighs like 400 pounds. I was like when I run into the girls that I went to high school with. Now trust me, there was nothing to choose from. I actually had to go to prom at a different fucking high school because all the bitches I went to school with were either fucking ugly, hideous, or fucking chuds. And there was nothing you could do to make them look good. Even drugs and alcohol could not make these bitches look good. And the ones that did look good were fucking stuck up beyond belief. Incels, are you listening? I got pussy as a teenager. I just didn't get pussy where I was at because there was nothing to choose from. Fucking find a new fucking place to go look for pussy if you're really that concerned with it. And I went to these other schools, because I had friends that lived in, Ferndale, Berkeley, Royal Oak, right? And the girls there were a little bit more down to fucking earth. And not as stuck up, and they sure as hell weren't beastly. Now, I'm not saying I didn't have fun as a teenager. I had tons of fun as a teenager. Just not in my fucking neighborhood. Because there was no way to have fun. Southfield had slowly become a cesspool of liberal rule. And it was. It's a ghost town now. Last time I went, fucking neighborhoods are becoming empty. That is the first sign of a dying city. The street I grew up on, there's a quarter-mile stretch from Evergreen to Stahalin. It's empty. There's hardly anybody fucking living there. On a quarter-mile stretch of road, hundreds of houses. There's only a handful of people that live on the street. That'll show you how successful the liberal ideology is. I'm telling you, man. So did I have fun growing up? For the most part, yeah. But it was a pain in the fucking ass. And when I finally got enough money, we moved the fuck out of the hood. Because I didn't want to fucking stay there. No love for any of that shit. I moved out by the lake where there's birds and trees and ducks and shit. And it's quiet. And you can hear kids playing in the fucking streets. It's nice. Even in Southfield, man, growing up, it was like a fucking ghost town anyway, because people would get out of their car and you couldn't say hi to them or anything because all they do is scurry into their fucking houses like cockroaches. But anyway, to give you kind of an idea that, you know, when you say shit to people, and you do shit to people, they remember that shit forever. That's why I fucking do not like racists. I don't give a fuck what color the racist is. Yes, people of color can be fucking racist. White people can be racist. Anybody can be fucking racist. If you are a human being, you have that ability. It's not a fucking superpower that only a small select few have. Damn. Finally feeling better from this fucking cold too, man, because that nagging fucking cough is finally going away, really, but you're still coughing up some shit, so sorry about the coughs. Anyway, I'll do another Tales from the Pond. Thumbs up the video. If you're so inclined, follow me on Twitter at Shark of Truth. Subscribe. I'm gonna try and tone it down. You know, I'm you know, a lot of people say like I cuss a lot. I'm not really making, you know, try to get the continuity there, right? I'm not gonna tone down the message, but yeah, I get what you're saying. Anyway, I want everybody to have a wonderful Monday, because it is Monday. It's time to get to fucking work.